Yes then YouTube, we are back with another video on the Wolf of an Aston Villa podcast brought to you by myself, Connor Wolf. If you are new to this channel, please drop a like on the video for me. That would mean the world to me. Drop a comment down below. You will see I do reply to every single comment, and hit that subscribe button to my channel. It helps, you know, it really does help. And also, we are sponsored by Luke Roper, Luke1977.com. Make sure you check out his website. I'm sure most of you Villa fans will know who he is and his website. Use the code WOLF20, all one word, at the checkout for 20% off absolutely everything on your order, including sale items. So, today's video is going to be about a link that I didn't know whether to do a video on it or not, but then there is now actually a lot of talk that this maybe could actually be a true link, and that is Jeremy Doku. I will show you quickly what I mean in terms of why I didn't want to really drop the, you know, like the video on this, because I didn't think it'd be true. But, so if I go on my bookmarks tweet, Fabrizio Romano did say the other day that Jeremy Doku is an alternative to Moussa Diaby. Now, we have had the here we go with Moussa Diaby, so we do know that that is legit. It's going to happen. It will probably be announced today as this video is going live, but this came out yesterday or the day before where it said it's strange. This is from Fabrizio Romano, who I know a lot of people call him a tapping merchant, but I only like to deal with links that are from credible sources, and of course Fabrizio Romano is probably the most credible, bar maybe David Ornstein around. I know for Villa News we did have John Percy and stuff like that, but Fabrizio Romano did say it's strange to say he, obviously meaning Doku, is an alternative because he's a fantastic player. I would say these are two options they have on the list at Aston Villa, and Monchi is working on both. And it kind of made me think that, okay, this link may then be like legit. And then last night, this news did break from Get French Football News, who is very reliable. They don't really lie about it. And after reaching a definitive agreement with Moussa Diaby and Bayer Leverkusen for 50 million euros plus 10 million euros in bonuses, which I think is probably about right. Although David Ornstein was actually reporting that the Diaby fee was 34 million. So maybe there is a bit of differentiate in terms of what Leverkusen are leaking and what Villa are leaking in terms of the transfer fee. Aston Villa are now considering a move for Rennes winger Jeremy Doku in addition to the Frenchman. Now, this is really interesting, because I was adamant as soon as Fabrizio Romano tweeted about Doku being an alternative to Moussa Diaby. It kind of made me thought a little bit that I don't know if I buy that, because Doku was, although last season it did change. Doku last season did, I'll get onto Doku's heat map and stuff in a minute, but last season Doku did predominantly play off the right when he did play. But before that, he has actually been mainly a left winger. And Diaby isn't a left winger. I know he can play on the left-hand side, and he probably might play on the left-hand side for Villa occasionally. I doubt it, but he might. And it kind of made me thought, I don't buy that link of it being one or the other, because I find them two different players in two almost different positions. And then, of course, we do then get the news yesterday and last night that Villa are now actually looking for a move for Doku, even with Diaby. And this brings me back to the point I made in yesterday's video about why is Unai Emery targeting Moussa Diaby, that the links that we're having with wingers, I'm convinced we're going to buy another one. I really am. And I think we are going to see a change of formation possibly in most of the games next season. Now, us last season at Villa, when Unai Emery came in, we basically played in not a traditional 4-4-2, but it was kind of like a 4-4-2 where we'd have the right winger hugging the right-hand side. The right back would tuck in to be a third centre-back. Moreno, our left back, would then play as like almost a left winger on the left-hand side. You then have the box in the midfield of Kamara, Louise, Ramsey and McGinn. And then, of course, Watkins, and then a Buendia, or in other games, it was a Traore, depending on where Leon Bailey played. So, it's made me think that I think we are in quite a lot of games, and I said it on yesterday's pod or video, whatever you want to call it, that with the Tielemans signing, I don't see where Yuri Tielemans fits in that formation. Now, I would say personally he'd play in the Douglas Luiz role, but he doesn't have the athleticism to play in a double pivot like Luiz and Kamara have. And I think just the way I'm thinking about it more and more, I really think we are possibly going to see in quite a few games next season a bit of a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. Now, on the left wing, we've had links to solid links, by the way. These aren't links that I'm just making up. These are links that have been from The Athletic, Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein, people of this ilk, that they only put their name to stuff when they know it to be factual, right? So we were interested in Harvey Barnes. I would have loved Harvey Barnes at Villa. A lot of you Villa fans will know he always scores against us, right? Like, he really does. He always scores. So, Harvey Barnes, the left winger. Gnotto, who I think that's probably the one link that I don't think has a lot of legs in it, but I think it maybe could be true, depending on who you're thinking. Ferran Torres, who can actually play anywhere along that front three, whether it be left, centre or right. And that's kind of similar to Diaby in that sense, where Diaby can play on the right, on the left, or in that second striker role. And I think the Ferran Torres link is probably in the same ilk as Diaby, that I don't know if we'll get Ferran Torres as well as Diaby. In my opinion, we could, but you never know. Let me know in the comment section if you agree with that. Then in that central role, we've had João Felix, who, I don't know, just keep your eye on that. I feel like that could happen. I really do. Like, João Felix hasn't got anywhere to go at the minute. He come out yesterday and said how much he wants Barcelona and stuff like that. Well, Barcelona can't afford you, mate. So, you're going to have to be careful. There ain't a lot of many clubs in the world that want you. There's no Champions League teams that actually want you right now at this second, mate. So, you're going to have to be very careful with that. Brennan Johnson, heavily linked as well. Now, Jeremy Doku, Diaby. I'm convinced all of them names are like 6 names there, 7 names. And we have had interest and links in all of them names, by the way, 100%. I think we are going to see a 4-3-3 / a 4-2-3-1 next season. I really do. Not in every game. I do think there will be some games where, maybe even most games, where we do go back to our like box midfield, the 4 in the midfield, the second striker, Ollie Watkins leading the line, our left back bombing on, and then our right back tucking into the third centre back role. I think there will be some games where we have that and use that, probably even in most games. But what I'm saying is, sometimes when you follow the links and you follow them closely, especially the reliable links, you can actually see what the manager is trying to do. I know a lot of people try and think, well, he doesn't fit in our system. I get that. He doesn't fit in our system from last season. But who's saying we're going to play that system again? Maybe Emery in his mind wants to change to a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, you know. Like, I saw a lot of people when we were linked with Harvey Barnes saying, well, we don't play with the left winger. Did you ever think that maybe we might play with the left winger next season and that's why we're linked to Harvey Barnes? Like, you know, like, I think people are too shoehorned in the formation that we used last season rather than not opening their eyes a little bit, but just thinking that maybe Emery does want to play a different formation. And when you follow the links, it becomes clear that I think in a lot of games, or at least some games, we are probably going to play with 2 wingers next season. Thank God. Like I said in yesterday's video, I love tricky, pacey wingers. It's what made me fall in love with football. Ronaldinho, Neymar, Thierry Henry in his younger days and stuff like that. They're the type of players I love. Now, I thought, you know what? Let me go into a bit of detail in why I think we are after Jeremy Doku. Now, there is a big red flag that I forgot to mention already. The big red flag in the room. I've watched Jeremy Doku a lot, by the way. He passes the eye test. Unbelievable. Like, when you watch Jeremy Doku, he is a player. And I mean like a player. But there is a big red flag. And he has picked up a lot of injuries in the last 2 years. And they're not impact injuries. So, like Kamara hasn't actually had a muscle injury. Both of his injuries that have put him out for quite a while this season, I think, were both impact injuries. So that's just football. That's just unlucky. When you have a player that is constantly getting muscle injuries, whether it be like a Martial, a Jeremy Doku, I worry about these type of players because I worry about the durability of them. You don't want a player that is amazing 1 week and then is out for 3-4 weeks the week after. You don't want that. You can't build any momentum and stuff like that. And I know it is a bit of part and parcel of when you have a fast, tricky player that they will pick up more muscle injuries just because of the way they play. But Diaby's very fast, probably even quicker than Doku, and Diaby doesn't pick up injuries like this. So that is the big red flag for me. But last season in Liga 1, he was very hampered by injuries last season. He had a very good run, as you can see, towards the end of the season where he did then be like injury free. Really had a bit of a free run towards the end of the season, picking up an assist, picking up a goal, 2 assists, 2 goals, and he played 29 games in Liga 1 last season. He only started 13 games. It kind of reminds me of when we first signed Leon Bailey in that first season, like the season before last, where he was just injured for the whole year. It kind of reminds me of that vibe that the season he's just had. He did manage to pick up 6 goals from only 2.69 XG. I like that. Good players, YouTube, on this podcast, good players overperform their XG. You do not want a player that underperforms or is hitting the same as their XG. If a player is constantly overperforming their XG, it means that they're a very good striker of the ball. They strike the ball clean and they can take a chance when they get it. So the fact that he scored 6 from only 2.69 expected goals, very key point. 0. He averages 1 shot a game, which is whatever from the wing. This is the key thing here, 2 assists, but This is the key thing right here. He averages in a game 3.3 successful dribbles a game. That is very high. That's double Diaby and Leon Bailey. So Doku is more of a dribbler than he is more of a bit like a speed merchant like Leon Bailey. Leon Bailey is very good when there's space in behind to run into, whereas Jeremy Doku is a lot better on the ball. He can dribble his way out. His on the ball movement, like when he's got the ball at his feet, he is genuinely, he's not a world-class player, but his dribbling is world-class. His dribbling's on a different level. He's very much of like that Saint Maximin role. And this is what I'm talking about last season for Doku. Doku, up until last season, has mainly been playing off the left. And the manager, who, I don't know who the manager is at Rennes, he then last season decided to play him on the right and actually had a lot of success with it. And again, this goes into the Diaby, where you can play Doku and Diaby on the right and the left, and they both can swap because they are both very comfortable playing off the left and the right. One thing I would say with Doku though, in comparison to like a Ferran Torres, João Felix, even Diaby, I think them three players, Diaby, Torres and João Felix, they would be very good in that not number 10, but you know, that like shadow striker, support striker role that we play. I don't think Doku can do that. I think Doku is not a traditional winger, but he is best out wide, whether it be on the left or the right. Get him out 1v1 against the fullback. He will beat that fullback most of the times that he dribbles at them. So he's the type of player that I really, really want. I think he's a brilliant player. I really do. I can't recommend Doku enough. I've watched a lot of him. One of my favourite players to watch outside of Villa. He's amazing. So the fact that we're linked with him, I love that. I would love to bring Doku. There has been a lot of reports as well that I've lost the bookmark for, which is annoying, so I can't show you, but that we've actually had a 25 million bid rejected for Doku yesterday. So I think maybe we are going for two wingers, and I do think it maybe is going to have a change of system. So thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this podcast, sorry, my God, podcast. If you did enjoy this podcast, drop a like on it, drop a comment down below. I will reply to every single comment. And please hit that subscribe button to my channel. I have set this up by myself, brand new. It's going to be a lot of videos. I'm going to put out a lot of longer podcasts. But at this moment in time, until I can get my overlay and stuff like that sorted, it is just going to be a bit of shorter videos for the minute. But thank you for watching. Spread the love and positivity. PMA, positive mental attitude. And up the Villa. Peace out. One love.